Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is Kayvana, and welcome to the Introverts Social Hour. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. Today, we are doing a Tony Awards recap. So, if you didn't know, the 2025 Tony Awards was this past Sunday, and we're going to do official recap, but also thoughts breakdown on what happened. Um there are a lot of thoughts to be had. So I'm bringing my friend Daniel on to talk about this. Daniel's been on a few different episodes at this point, musical ones included. So as far as opinionated friends go, like Daniel and I have really
Not
good
so
conversations
opinionated.
because we both are. So this is good to be okay. Let's break down what we're talking about. So welcome, Daniel. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Um, so fun fact for listeners: we don't know each other's thoughts yet.
We do
In
not.
regards to the Tonys. So this is all brand new. But as in regards to, if you follow me on TikTok, I dropped just general snippets and recaps and breakdowns. But here you're gonna get the full thoughts and everything because I didn't really give my full opinions. I gave it a little just here as it is kind of thing. But we'll go in. I have to know first though. Did you watch the Tony Awards Act One where they do the designs and costume and all that stuff?
So I didn't actively watch it, but I was keeping up to date with it.
Mhm,
And you know, I agree with most of what was said. I think
mhm.
in terms of because what, let me see. Let's remind me which ones were the ones that they talked about in the beginning.
So we got scenic design, lighting. We also got costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this is my thing. I'm especially with costumes.
Mhm,
I personally
mhm.
I'm glad that Death Becomes Her got. I can say my opinions now, right? Correct.
Yes,
I
100%.
am very glad that Death Becomes Her got costume design specific. So and maybe I'm biased. So Death Becomes Her is my current favorite show
I'm sure.
musical on Broadway right now.
Mhm,
Um, and I did expect them to, take home a lot more Tonys.
mhm.
However, I think with costume design was one of my main ones of I really hope that they win this. Not only because Paul like his work is just amazing,
Yeah,
but also specifically for Death Becomes Her. It because have you seen the show?
I have. Yes.
Okay. So just the way of with spoiler alerts,
Mhm,
of Hell and with her purple dress and her stomach that being where the jewels go out,
mhm.
and then having Mad's dress and a lot of it wraps around her neck and wraps around the top and there's a lot of draping and I'm okay, pretty. And I would have never thought to do that, but then when you watch it, I'm oh, okay, that's very smart. And then you're okay,
Yeah.
this makes sense why this won. On the other side of things, I think
Wait, I have to know. Sorry, I'm gonna jump in real quick.
okay, yeah,
Just
yeah.
so listeners know, what shows have you seen in this season? Because you've seen way more
Okay.
than me.
So I've seen, if I missed any, let me know. I've seen
Mhm.
Death Becomes Her, Boop, Sunset Boulevard. Which other ones are this season? I've
You
seen
seen
maybe Happy Ending.
okay,
Um, I will say a lot of these I have not seen the plays.
that's
I'm
fair.
not a
Yeah.
huge play person, so I've not seen a lot of those.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. I think those are the main
Hold
ones.
up. I'm going blank on the name, but give me a second because I know when you're missing. And I have to real women have curves. How did you forget, Daniel? How dare you?
My people. Okay, I will say that I usually so with Death Becomes Her, I not that I'm upset, but I am bummed out that they didn't take home a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think with Real Women Have Curves, and I think you might understand this a little bit better as well coming from, like, UCSD and the
Mm.
shows that we saw there, in
We
that,
are on
like
the same okay, I'm gonna let you finish talking because I have
in
thoughts.
that, like, it it's not like it's a fun show.
Mhm,
There are parts of the show that I'm like, "Okay, we're fitting this in here to, like, add that piece of narrative to be like, if you are Latino, if you are Mexican American, if you are from an immigrant community, you understand this."
mhm,
And, like, some of them, I'm like, "We didn't really need to put those in there." And the
mhm,
parts of the show that are difficult to watch, I'm like, "I am happy we got nominated."
mhm,
I am happy that, like, let alone that the one like, one of the only noms that we got, like, love Justina. I do wish that other people in the cast were nominated and not the, like,
the
star
main yeah,
person,
star,
and,
yeah.
like, she did a great job, she did an amazing job.
Mm,
And the other piece of, like, we had the Spanish language nominated for a Tony.
mhm,
And I'm like, that in itself, I'm like, the show already enough, like, talks about stuff and has topics that, like, isn't really palatable, I think, to, like, a large audience. So I'm like, the fact that we got a nom,
it's a spotlight,
I'll
yeah.
take it.
Mhm,
I'll take it.
okay.
And you know what? I've seen everybody's TikToks that are on the show, and they are also like, you know what? We were nominated. We are on that stage. We are on the ballot. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, no, that's true. That makes
Wow. I
sense.
took us completely on a different train.
No, but that's good because like I said, like I haven't seen it, but because we talked because I had asked you about it, and I literally have in my notes here, I said La Jolla Playhouse vibes.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
And so I'm glad we're on the same page because I was figuring out how to explain that to you. Like it's I don't even know how to like it's it doesn't sound like the typical Broadway sound, but I really do think La Jolla Playhouse has its own kind of aesthetic now. And I don't know how
Yes.
to
And it's the
explain that.
same way of like, and honestly, now, like, thinking of, like, the shows that have come out of La Jolla Playhouse, I'm like, we got Summer, the Donna Summer musical. Yes,
Mhm.
it, like, was, like, music that we already know, but I'm like, we didn't necessarily have, like, bio shows at that time when it came out. So, like, it
Mm,
was
mhm.
newer to Broadway.
Yeah.
And then Lempicka, God bless Lempicka, that
Mhm.
was on Broadway for, like, a short run, came
Mm.
from the La Jolla Playhouse.
Yeah.
And so, like, knowing that, I'm like, okay, Broadway is, like, pulling these shows from La Jolla that are, like, not necessarily, like, tasty to the general population, and there are still pieces that, like, everybody can, like, understand.
Appreciate, yeah, mhm. Because I remember, like, Diana had a moment on Broadway,
Ugh,
um, and then yeah, there's been so many because I always confuse it too because we watched a lot of La Jolla Playhouse stuff, so there's even things that were big to us that didn't even, make it to Broadway, but yeah, I feel like they all
yeah.
have a very similar aesthetic. What else? So we had that one. Um, as someone who has watched Sunset Boulevard, do you think that they should have gotten, like, lighting? Do you get that for them?
Um, yes. I
Okay.
think okay, this is my thing with Sunset Boulevard. I think for the people who know me, it's really funny because I always talk about this.
Mm.
I'm not a huge oh, this is gonna get me. I'm not a huge Andrew Lloyd Webber fan.
And that's okay. You're not the only one to have said that
Um,
at this point.
and I will say one of the only shows that I really, really want to see is Starlight Express, which is wild.
Okay.
However, with Sunset Boulevard, I think one of the thing that really gets me is their
Mm.
use of screens, their use of
Mm.
cameras, and like lighting in the way like yeah, beautiful. It
Okay.
like I think that's the only not saying that that's the only thing they got going for them,
Mhm.
but like there are no sets.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
what I
I
was
think
wondering. Okay.
like if they're gonna get anything, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because
Okay.
lighting that really changes the entire show.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because yeah, like, when I see snippets and pictures, it's like I'm like, "What is on that stage?"
It's no, true. It's a while, and when you get there, because not not to spoil it to anybody, but like the
Mm,
second you enter the theater,
mm.
and the house, like, you are preparing to see the show,
Nice. Okay.
and
Cool.
so, like, from the second you get there, you're like, "Oh, okay, we're here." And so lighting, I think without that, you wouldn't get that effect, so, like,
Mhm.
it makes sense why they got that.
Okay.
I just
I'm
have my
intrigued.
own feelings about Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, I did say it doesn't seem to be my cup of tea, especially after seeing the performance. But I'll just let that be. We'll talk about that. Um, but yeah, it seems like a lot too. Speaking of like the rest of Act One and what caught my attention, maybe Happy Ending started to kind of like low key take some sweeps, which I was intrigued by.
They I honestly, like, maybe only because 'cause I've seen it once,
Mhm.
and, like, I just don't see it that much in terms of, like, marketing and
Yeah.
maybe that's just my own For You page and my own feed, but I, like, didn't expect it to get as many as awards as it did.
No, I 100% agree. The marketing prior. The only reason I knew about it because I was on a hunt for like what shows are coming in this season, and I was excited about the storyline and the concept because I don't know if a lot of people know, but maybe Happy Ending. I forget what country it had already premiered in before it officially made its like Broadway debut, but it was something that
Mm-mm.
was already like of thought and existence. And so then they brought it here, and I was like, I would love to see it. Okay, Darren Criss, okay, bet. And then now that you're saying that, when I think about it, also when it came to their like Tony Awards run of marketing, you know how they shows start doing those pushes and all the interviews and things like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
They weren't doing that either, really. They were
yeah.
just going off hopes and dreams. Now that I
Yeah,
think about it.
I haven't seen any, and, like, especially, like, Death Becomes Her, they and, like, Boop,
Mhm.
they have and,
Even
Gypsy,
Gypsy,
they
yeah.
have all done tiny desk performances. They have
Yeah.
all done so I'm like, I was just surprised that
Mhm.
they were as successful as they were last night.
Yeah. No, they snuck in. I'm not saying I just haven't seen it, but I just didn't think, you kind of can get an idea of what's going to pop off. That was one I didn't know because of how quiet the talk has been about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, they took original score and they took best scenic design for musical in Act One before eventually towards the end of the night they won best musical, which we're going to talk about. And then also I want to give a side note to Buena Vista Social Club, which
Yeah,
they won best choreography.
I will say that's not a show that I necessarily and I wasn't like, "Oh, I just didn't know much about it." And now I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like they really came up out of nowhere too."
Yeah, that's the thing. What threw me off was because it's when it's quiet. And so also I didn't know about Buena Vista Social Club, like the actual thing. And so I was like, okay, eventually
Mm-mm-mm.
I'll see it. For me, it was just like, I'm a lottery girl. So, and I was just waiting around, and the lottery system's been a bit harder to fight this time around. But that is that is on my list, and especially now with the choreography and seeing their performance, I was like, okay, I get it. Like I understand. Um, I know Camille Brown. She's been in a fight to try to win that spot for so long. Um,
Yes.
but once again, if you've seen Gypsy, it's not a choreography heavy show, so it's kind of hard to compete. Which I had a feeling. I think
Yeah.
she should have. I think last year she had a better chance with Hell's Kitchen. But the wild part is what I've discovered, and it's no different in the dance community, is like they really prioritize like tricks over a lot of other things. Like
Okay.
what was that other show that was like mainly dance? I didn't see it, but I think you had
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, it wasn't like
right. They didn't talk.
Illinois.
Illinois, there we go.
Illinois.
Yeah. So like even that, like Illinois was more like contemporary from what I had seen and things like that. They might have had some tricks and stuff in there, but you know, when you compare that and then they gave it to Outsiders last year. Outsiders had good choreography, and I remember sitting there like, okay, they're putting themselves in there,
See,
but a
and I
lot of it
haven't
is
seen The
tricks.
Outsiders, so
Hey, it's still around. It's
I
good.
know.
It was one of those surprise ones, like, oh wait, okay. It was because I got
Okay.
lottery, and that's why I watched it. I ended up watching it.
Okay.
Or else it wasn't on my like, oh, I needed to see it kind of thing. Let's see. Let's go into the main show. So Cynthia Erivo hosted. Let's just talk about that for a second. What did you think? That was her first time hosting the Tonys. I think she should come back.
So I also, and I don't know if this is true, but I believe that she also produced the Tonys or was a
Wait.
producer.
Oh, wait.
Um, I think she did a phenomenal job. I think like was funny, made like the comments that she needed to make, made the like political comments that she needed to make, but in the way where like it wasn't so like direct. And like just hearing her sing, like, period. I want to hear her sing all the time.
Right, like, just burst in a song, and that's exactly what she
Yeah,
did. Um, okay, confirmed, she was a producer, so that makes sense.
period.
It's like, no, and it was very much her, like, I appreciate that. It didn't feel like
Yeah.
even when I talked about it, I was like, whoever w like, whatever she did and whoever was on her team, like, they made everything blend really well. That makes sense. She got to add her own humors and touches and things like
Yeah.
that. When she gave Oprah the car, I thought that was so
Oh my
funny.
God. You get a car. I died.
Yeah, and then, the Jonathan Groff moment before he performed was also hilarious. I was like, "She
My
really just doesn't
favorite
care."
my favorite was her going through the audience, like having them sing. I was
That
like,
was a good
period.
one. Mhm.
Let's get this community going.
Right, and I'm glad the first few I think I can't I know the face, but the whoever the last person was that she put the mic to was just dancing. It's like
Oh yeah, I have no idea who it because it was right after I think Adam
it
Levine,
was
and I was like, oh, I was like,
you can't.
how
And
you gonna
so
follow that up?
right, and I'm pretty sure I don't think he was an actor, like, that is my theory.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
I was
so.
like or at least if he's an actor, he's not a singer, like, musical actor, and so I was like, "Now, Cynthia, you
Yeah.
knew to do that to him."
I was like,
I'd be
girl, you're
shimmying
doing it
too.
dirty. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, get the
Mhm.
microphone away from me.
Right. Immediate anxiety. But no, like, everybody who did it was wonderful. We got Aaron. Who went before Aaron? It was, I can't even
Wasn't
remember
Aaron the
now.
first one? No,
Or
no. I honestly can't remember.
yeah, but either way, they sounded great.
Yeah.
I but yeah, I like that moment too. And then what else? We had, oh, the intro song. It had to warm up to me. By the
Yes.
time the choir came in and everything, it got catchy. That first, like, section was it threw me off.
Yeah. Yeah. I will like once she got on stage and got it going, I was like, period. I will say
Mhm.
this year it just felt like less dramatic of a show, but in like in a good way. I don't know
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like she was the star and she was the glitz and glam, and so like it was nice to see her on stage, but I just needed the like momentum to go.
No, I get what you're saying. I think it like you said, it felt very natural, um, to her. I think
Yeah.
usually we
She pulled a
see
Kiki Palmer. She was like, I know what I'm doing.
right, no, seriously, yeah, because usually it's like, "Okay, this is the Tonys, we know we're gonna get a 5, 6, 7, 8, da 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 da." She was like, "I'm gonna come in this really cute ball gown,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing, I have people behind me, I don't need to razzle dazzle, I am the razzle dazzle."
I'm
Like,
just glad it wasn't James Corden
T,
hosting this year.
have you noticed he kinda, like, low key disappeared?
Disappeared? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the people wanted. I guess he said, "Alright, y'all, I guess." He's gonna come back, though. He's not done yet.
I I hope not. I hope
He's
not.
eventually gonna need more more jobs. That's how it always works. They're like, "We're gonna take a break, with my $1,000,000."
Yeah, and they come back, they make their big comeback, and they're like, "Hey,
Mhm. It's gonna be some musical that
oh
nobody was
Lord, oh Lord."
Yeah, it's okay. Speaking of performances though, let's go in order here. Just like quick thoughts and everything. We already know you love Death Becomes Her. Um,
Ugh,
let's talk about For the Gays. First of all, it is my favorite
ugh,
one of the show. At first I was wondering why that one because I thought, we get more of a blend, especially with two of their leading ladies being nominated. I thought we get something that highlighted them both. But I was like, wait, it's Pride. It's June. It has to be For the
correct,
Gays. And
correct. And
so,
I will say,
yeah.
like, that because, like, that no we have the album, so I can say it. The number,
Mhm.
like, is very early on in the show, but I think,
Yes.
like, some shows, like, a number like that would be at the end because, like, you can't really follow up that,
Mm,
and this show, like, that is just the starting point. And
Yeah.
so I think it makes sense that they did it because yes, pride and like it's like, oh, like this is where we're starting from. Like, period. This is the show.
Mhm. Yeah, because I was definitely, especially for them to be the first performance, but I was like, "Wait, no, this makes sense actually, because it gives the full shebang of, like, how chaotic energy, like, the show is
It's
as well."
it's so good.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's so good.
So fun fact, because we both seen it, did you already know? Because I know for the gays, I remember because they have the chaps,
Haha. Yes.
and I knew I said, "They can't do chaps on CBS. Those pants have gotta be" and what were they? Covered. But
Yeah,
that was
they
so
did that
smart.
too for I think like Jimmy Fallon. I was like, they they can't possibly remove their on national television.
Mhm. And I knew that was one of the things I was like,
Yeah. Glad they did not do that.
right, exactly. Can you imagine? Clutch pearls, like everybody, like,
Truly, I think we all would have been like, oh,
right. CBS, be like, the Tonys will now be on ABC. Like,
well, now air on Netflix.
right. No, seriously. We're kind of streaming era. Then we have Buena Vista Social Club. I said my comments were ate the boots down. I said wanted to get up there, and I said I see why the choreography won. Those are my
Correct.
comments. Yes.
Correct.
And then in regards to also we had after that Jonathan Groff performed Hey, listen, don't come for me, even listeners out there. Not gonna lie, was a little confused, but I don't know the show, so that's none of my business. I think it was because she just said Jonathan Groff instead of being like Jonathan Groff for his show, just in time. Like I was like, is this Jonathan Groff just performing? Right, like
Yeah,
um
I don't really know much about the show, so I was like, oh, cute,
yeah.
period.
I same. I said was cute, didn't really stand out to me. That was my
I was like, okay.
That's it. And then after that, we got Sunset Boulevard with Nicole Scherzinger. So you've seen this live already. This is my first time
Yes.
experiencing it. I said she's singing, she's acting. I said not my cup of tea though.
So I and I'm just, she won.
She did. Yeah.
Um, I've seen it twice.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay.
I've seen it with Nicole and I've seen it with Mandy. Nicole, sing the Boots House down.
Okay.
She can sing.
She can act.
Next question.
Okay.
I
Okay.
personally think, and honestly, I like, and especially within the last couple of weeks in the theater Broadway community with the tea that has
Mm.
been Miss Patty LaPone, which
Mm.
like gagged that she wasn't there, which like makes sense, and also like she was probably at home, and I'm like, what it must feel like to have like 500 of your peers hate you.
Right.
And I think having Nicole and Audra both sing, um, I would I would be pissed. Anybody should be upset that Audra did not win.
Period. Exclamation mark. I was gonna save that, but thank you for saying that. I was gonna talk about it for awards.
Um, yeah, no,
And
because and like, don't get me wrong, I love Jasmine. It's Jasmine Amy
oh
Rogers.
wait. Mm.
I think if we wanted to like, if nobody's background met, like she should have won like amazing,
Mhm.
and like I'd love for her to win her second nom.
Mhm.
The performance, and this is also knowing that like I've seen some videos about Audra and like the role of Rose, and that like usually it's been historically it's been played by a white woman, and like now that it's been played by a black woman, like
Mhm.
her decisions are a lot different, and some people, and like I've seen some things online are like with like the colorism with Gypsy and, oh, I always forget her name, the
Joy?
little
No.
one, um
Oh,
June.
June. No.
I'm like, with the colorism with the kids, I'm like, June is of lighter complexion, and I'm
Yeah.
like, if we think about it back then, Rose is a black woman. I'm like, you start thinking, okay, did she see that she couldn't get successful with her older daughter, so she like slept with a white man, and like that's why she has a lighter skinned daughter, and so she like all
Mhm.
these decisions now have different meanings. And
Mhm.
I'm like, and then you see her break down on
Ooh,
stage.
listen, that's not Audra on stage. I've talked about this on one of my TikTok videos. Where I did a recap for Gypsy. I said I was scared of Audra. Mind you, I was in orchestra, Daniel. I was like, I'm uncomfortable.
I remember because it was funny because like I like when shows like it felt like the theater that we were in was the theater that she was in.
Yes. Mhm.
And it that's where I was like, I feel uncomfortable because I right now currently feel like I am existing in her brain.
Yes, yes, that.
I was
Yes.
like, as an audience member, that's wild.
Right? Okay, we're on the same
Because
page.
when she's like pointing and she's like, look at, and I'm like, she's talking to me. Oh my God. I'm existing in her brain. Oh my God.
Yes.
And she comes back and you're like, oh my God. And then you get to the Tonys and you're like, she did that at Radio City
In a shorter time span too.
in a
Because
shorter time span. You didn't even get to see her character get to that point.
right, she had to get there a lot faster. There was a
And
quicker jump.
you already know that she has had enough.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Chills.
she could have her first ever performance of Rose could have been that night and I would have been like, "Okay, I've had 30 seconds to think about it. Give her the Tony."
Right. I listen, I thought I was like, even if Audra doesn't get it, even though I was like, give her Audra or Tony, she should get it. Mind I add, I was like, I know I haven't seen any other shows, but you got to do a lot to top that for me personally. And then I was like, and Nicole got it. I said,
We gave it
mm,
to a pussycat doll.
lucid, yeah, yeah. Apparently, but also, I'm gonna get a little messy for a second. Not even messy, just the facts were dropped. Nicole, I'm gonna say allegedly, is a Trump supporter. So
Oh,
I think,
I believe she is.
yeah, I believe she is. But I think that that's also kind of wild, especially considering how progressive the Tonys usually is. I was like, knowing that if the performance was good, like the performance wasn't even like up for me. I don't know. So yeah, but I don't know if it's my FYP and stuff too. But everybody's on my side as well in regards to that. Like
No,
it should have been
yes.
Audra. Like that's wild,
Yes.
and not just because Audra's like one of the greats. Like Audra actually did her thing on that stage. So yeah, but no, I was like, especially because Audra's like a sweet human being in person, and then like,
And that's the
yeah,
thing too, because
mhm.
I've heard I haven't like they haven't explicitly said it. But like Nicole gives me the like vibes of like I did this show and I got this Tony and like I did this to get the Tony to get the accolades.
um,
Whereas like Audra gives me the vibe of like I do this show and I put everything into it because I want to. If
mhm,
I get a Tony because of it, okay. If I
mhm,
don't, I still do what I wanted to do.
mhm,
And because of that, like when I saw Audra do it, she had like snot coming down her face.
bawling,
And I was like, get like, yes, be nasty, be gross,
yeah,
break down in front of me,
mhm,
do it.
the whole shebang. Did you see her walking off the Tony stage? When she finished her
No.
performance, I didn't like that they did that. I said, let my girl breathe. Like she gotta recover. Because they always do that when we'll be back. Da, 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 da. And then
Uh-uh.
when she grabbed her coat off the floor real quick and she was walking off the stage. She's still like she's fully in. You know, when you're doing that, you have to take
Yeah.
a
You
pause.
gotta take a minute to get
Get
out
that
of it,
camera
yeah.
out of her face. She gotta recover.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. That's how you know she was in. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but yeah,
yeah. Ugh.
I wasn't pulled towards what I saw for Sunset Boulevard. Like we already know Nicole can sing, but like I agree from what I see she can't act. And also too with her award when she accepted the award it also felt very fake to me. I don't know. But I'm just leave it there. I don't know. It did.
Mhm.
So moving on. Yeah. Have you heard of Pirates? Fun fact, not really a big talk of the
No,
town at all. I was like, "What? What's
no.
performing?"
I have some friends who have gone to see it, and, like,
Mhm,
it's a fun show.
mhm. Yep, that's why I said seems fun. Didn't necessarily catch my ears necessarily, but I did say it's very Broadway, like the typical Broadway sound. That's what it at least the song that they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got Maybe Happy Ending that also performed. I said I love their use of staging with the musicians coming up. I thought that was really cool. I would be curious to see what the rest of that looks like, especially because they won set design.
I
Um,
will say I did love their set is, like, really cool.
you seem so excited to see.
No, it was really cool. Like, I
Yeah.
think, like, it's just, like, was a like, I've only seen it once, like, I haven't really been compelled to see it again.
Mm.
But, like, when I did see it, I was like, "Oh, wow, this is cool." Like, it's, like, Disney World level,
Gotcha. See, that excites me
like,
though. I feel like that.
digital, like, and that's what's
Mhm.
cool.
Okay.
But it's not a show where, like, I've left and have, like, the album or the songs on repeat in my head.
No, that makes sense. Okay. That's fair. Do you think I would thoroughly enjoy it especially as a rom-com girly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bet.
Oh, absolutely.
Bet. Okay. I already said I was like I've been trying to get access to it, but it's been hard. But it's gonna be harder now. But I
Like,
really want to see it.
I did cry. Like,
Okay.
I did sit there bawling.
Okay. Oh wait. Okay. Good to writing that down because I did not
Yeah,
expect tears.
yeah,
Thanks for letting me know.
yeah.
I will say when I was watching it before we found out that Darren Chris won, um, I would when I was watching the performance, I said he's got those like robotisms down. Like I was like, oh no,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
he's acting.
Oh,
He
yeah, it's
practiced that,
very weird seeing him do it because 'cause you're like, "Oh."
and it's subtle. If you because I'm watching for it, like he's like blink blink. You just
And he doesn't forget. There's never a
no.
minute in the show where he doesn't not do it, like, you're just
Yeah.
watching him and, like, he'll blink, but the way he blinks, you're like, "Oh, you're actively thinking of how you are blinking."
Yeah, and how you're like being that like what do they call them
And I'm like, as a human being and as, like, a natural human thing to blink, I'm like, to
mhm,
actively know how to blink for however long the show is, I'm like,
mhm.
"Okay, give the
No.
man his Tony."
Right. I was shook. And I was like, okay, wait. So for me it made sense from what I know. Of course, like I said, I haven't watched everything. Um and then I said it was a very cute performance. I said it was simple but effective. I don't know what other, performances they could have done to like have it stand out, but I
Yeah,
it's pretty looking. It convinces me in regards to the storyline. They want you to remember, hey, it's a romance. Like, don't forget that kind of thing. So makes sense to me. Floyd Collins, what are your thoughts?
I know nothing about it.
All right, same. Jeremy Jordan? That's all I got for you.
You could have all I know that it's about a man
Mhm. Name Floyd, I'm assuming.
named Floyd,
Yeah,
surname Collins.
I for that one, dinner did come around, so I wasn't fully paying attention. 'Cause I need to go
Okay.
grab my food. But from what I heard, I mean, Jeremy Jordan sounds good, but yeah, it wasn't for me, listeners out there, I already feel y'all are judging. I'll say for me, and then if you could tell me 100% if yours is the same way. But I'm not huge in the typical Broadway musical theater sound, like the old fashioned aesthetic, belts. I want kind of song. It depends. I'm very contemporary in my preferences, I will say. So when it comes to things like that, or even when I was hearing pirates and stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, it feels like I've heard it before. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I don't so, like, for me, like, classical Broadway stuff is, like, Phantom of the Opera type music,
Yeah.
and, like, I can't do it.
Mhm.
Cinderella, Rodgers and Hammer, or whatever, can't do it. It's really rough.
What about the Brandy and Whitney version?
Like, I'll watch it, but I
Okay.
won't, like, listen to the album
Okay.
outside of the show because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my god." Yeah, like, in my own little corner, I get it. You're in your own little chair. Um,
Okay.
but, like, I like stuff like I think, like, Real Women Have Curves because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, like, this isn't a, like, pop song, and it's still, like, okay, like, fun, like, most of like, Real Women Have Curves, the entire album, I run to it on the treadmill.
Okay.
Death Becomes Her, I run to it on the which is funny because like, Death Becomes Her, I think, has the vibe of, like, original Broadway,
Mhm.
and I think within the within the score, it makes it not feel original Broadway, if that makes sense.
Like, are you saying in a sense of because they have a little bit of that, but then they also, like, throw you off with something else kinda
Yeah, like, I
thing?
think in terms of, like, you get, like, like, they're singing
The singing.
it's like one of the last, like, Alive Forever, where Madeline and Helen are singing their big song.
Mhm.
Like, that is very Broadway-y,
Yeah.
and the music that's going with it when their, like, melodies are going and they're singing, you're like, "Oh, like, this isn't" yes, it sounds like it gives the old Broadway vibe, and, like, I couldn't imagine that being on a Broadway stage 6, 7 years ago.
Okay. No, I catch you.
Which is,
'Cause
like,
yeah, they
new
could
age, like yeah,
I get what you're saying. I don't know.
neoclassic.
Yeah, neoclassical. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like we probably aren't even past that era. Maybe they're like I feel like they're even kind of low key blending a little bit of now with a little bit of then. And then in or then like in neoclassical world too, because if we're doing Phantom of the Opera classic, then
Like, I would love to see a Phantom of the Opera production,
Mhm.
but, like, with the vibes of Death Becomes Her. Like, give me glitz, give me
Interesting.
glam, give me, like, a little bit of, like, metal and a little bit of jazz in
Okay.
the score,
Mhm.
and let's update it a little bit. And I'm like,
Okay.
"Okay, we have a rockin' show now."
Yeah, that could be fun. Actually, I see the vision. I see the vision. Maybe producer?
I mean, at this point
Right. Um, so that's good to know in regards to that, because also in similar context, it sounded different, but in Catch Me, Dead Outlaw. And it's like, your
again,
daddy's
know
dead. Dun, dun,
nothing
dun.
about it.
I just know that Homeboy is like a mummy for like half the show. Yeah. So that's wild. I saw him perform
Well,
for like
that's
3 minutes and he's just
oh, that's the dude that comes out of a, like, casket.
hmm
I've
and
seen the
he
clip. That's
yes.
all I've seen.
Oh wow. See? Yeah, I said I liked it. I said I need more context to the story. I think that's what's intriguing me of like, who's this guy? How did he become a
Uh-uh.
mummy in the amusement park? How did he end up in somebody's house now? And
Oh,
the right? No, that's what I'm saying. It's so odd. Um, I saw the View performance and it's I forgot her name, but basically she's like, oh, she comes home, she sees this like mummy standing in the casket, and she's like, oh, my dad must have brought you home. Like that's so odd. And she's like, she's singing, of course, the whole time, but she tells him her life throughout her years as she grows up and I thought one, she did a great job because she literally changes her voice as she gets older, quote unquote. She'll like leave, she'll have a costume change, come back. She's now assumed a few years older, leave, come back, a few years older. And the whole time he's just there. And so I need to know what happens from there. I'm like, what? I think that's what's
oh
intriguing to me. But the
my god.
sound, the sound doesn't 100% capture me. But her song was pretty interesting. But it seems like it's kind of, it jumps a bit too. It doesn't stay in one genre. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming he's a dead outlaw.
Yes. Yeah.
We love
We,
context clues.
right. And then what else? I said, we got Gypsy. We already talked about Miss Audra McDonald and her wonderfulness. Operation Mincemeat? I said
Know
not
nothing
catching my
about
attention.
it.
Yeah. Did you see the performance at all?
I did not.
Yeah. They're
I will
like
say after I just started on some pieces, I just kind of lost interest. I was like, I don't know nothing about it.
tapped in and out. No, that's fair. I
Yeah.
say the music is kind of catchy. Homegirl has like a little rapping moment, low key, a little Hamilton up in there.
Oh,
Right? My mom, who doesn't listen to musicals, was like, "Wait, hold up." I was like,
oh,
but I will say
not what
like,
I would have thought.
right, yeah. Um, but I don't see myself seeing it. I have a whole bunch of other ones on my list before that one would ever hit. And as I've said, it's already been really hard to get to see the other one. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it did not. I don't know if it left with anything, actually, to be quite honest with you.
I don't
Um,
think it did.
yeah. And then the last one we had
I
was
got one.
for what?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Operation
What did I
Mincemeat.
miss in Act One? It must have
I
been like,
forget. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a musical.
oh wait, no, I totally did forget. My bad. I have it here. We're
Jack
gonna,
Malone.
yes, I do have that.
I know nothing about him.
Yeah, no, whatchamacallit. Okay, we'll talk about that. I did forget that one. To be fair though, the performance that they did do didn't highlight Jack, so I wouldn't be
Okay.
able to tell, any further than that. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then last performance we had was Real Women Have Curves. They performed Juggling. I said it looks fun. Good song choice. I said it's
Juggling,
catchy.
juggling, juggling, juggling.
Mm-hmm. I think it was great. It made sense. I said, and then of course, as I said earlier, I said La Jolla Playhouse vibes. Like this is, it makes sense to me. Like the
You know
sound.
what? It gives the same vibe of that one show with Daphne Rubin Vega
With the mom,
where the mom and she ends up being deported.
the letter that's coming to me is at M. Um, dang it, Daphne. She's in that right now, isn't she? Though she's also in Real Women Have Curves?
Oh,
Question mark.
no, she
No.
isn't.
Oh, I don't know why I thought
The
she
daughter
was.
that was in that show was in Mystical Pizza.
Gotcha. She was in, because the daughter was also in Kiss My Aztec for the
And she was in
Connecticut
Mean
run.
Girls
Mean Girls. Let
on
me
Broadway.
see. It's not popping up, which I think is very rude just because it didn't
Let's
have
see.
a run. Um Miss You Like Hell. Thank you. I was like, it's an M,
Yes.
it's an M. Yes, I agree. Do you also kind of catch, at least Juggling kind of reminded me a bit of Freaky Friday, just a smidge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, bet. Because
Yes.
I was like, I don't want to judge it off of just one song, but
The beginning song. Um
mm,
um One Ordinary Day. Just one ordinary day. Whatever it is.
got
Yes.
you. Okay,
I
bet.
agree with you.
Nice. Look at me. My musical ears are working. I was like, that's what it sounds like to me. Okay, let's go into awards real quick. So we had featured actor in a play went to Frances June for Yellowface. Listeners out there, we aren't huge play people, so we're kind of just gonna roll
Yes, I'm not
through.
gonna have much of an opinion for those.
Yeah, we're just gonna roll through those real quick. And then we had a Jack Malone Broadway debut, by the way. I wrote that down. For Operation Mincemeat, feature actor in a musical. Um,
Sure.
Featured actress in a play went to Kara Young. Now, I will say I do know about Kara Young because she's been nominated for 4 consecutive years in a row. She won her first Tony last year. This was her second Tony she won for the play Purpose, which was directed by
Yes.
Felicia Rashad. And I will say I am salty that I missed that, but that was actually in Chicago.
Oh,
Chicago. Yeah, I think that's where it started.
Chicago.
And then after that, we had featured actress in a musical went to Natalie Venetia Belcone. First nom, first off, first win for Buena Vista Social Club. I will say I'm glad that she noted. She said she hadn't been to the Tonys since the 58th one. It's been 20 years.
Oh, wild.
Mm-hmm. And so she was like, I miss being here. I don't know why there was a pause, if that was an intentional pause in her career and stuff like that. But she was like,
Yeah,
I'm happy to be back. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't intentional. There's not a lot of space when it comes to people of color on Broadway. So, you know,
sadly.
but I did say she's funny. I loved her speech. And she did great in the performance that they did on the show.
Karen.
After that, best play went to Purpose. So that was a super big deal. And then We got best revival of a play went to Eureka Day. I've heard of it, but I don't really know much about it, and it
Yeah,
didn't
I
catch
don't
my
know.
eye
Yeah.
when they explained it either. Best direction of a play went to Oh Mary. Now that one, you might catch me.
I wanna see it so bad. I wanna see
Mhm.
it so bad because now that I know that it's Mary Todd Lincoln wanted to be a cabaret performer,
Yes.
of course I wanna see it.
Right. All I just ever saw was, like, Mary running around on stage. So now
That's
having a
all
little
I've
bit
seen, yeah.
getting a little bit more detail, and then also getting to know a little bit more about Cole, I feel like, it was really cool, and so I think Purpose is done, so it's too late for me, but Oh Mary's still running, so,
Yeah,
I'll definitely try to see that. Best direction of a musical went to Michael Arden for Maybe Happy Ending, so shout
I
out.
guess. I'm just kidding.
Listen, I don't know. I haven't watched it. So, and to be fair, like direction, that one you really have to remember and pay attention to detail to be able to compare and
Yeah.
contrast. Um,
I will
and
say
then
with Death Becomes Her, Jennifer and Megan Hilty, they
carry it.
really direct themselves on stage,
Yeah.
so
hmm You can tell because it's definitely their personality showing too. So, yep.
it is a time.
And then we had lead actor in a play go to Cole. Um, do, 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 do. And then that had me thinking once again, like Tony's is one of like the most progressive award shows because to be,
Which you know what is wild because ooh, was this gonna be bad that I talk about this?
I don't know what you're gonna say. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna say it. Which I think is wild that Justin gave up the nom.
Yeah. I did think
Because
about
I
that.
think like, yes, I completely understand that like the Tonys needs to be a little bit more progressive, especially the Tonys being the community that it is. And
Mhm.
Cole, I think was like, yes, I think would have worn and presented however they did regardless.
Exactly.
And like to do that, especially for like that category, I'm like, period, papa.
That's a step in the right direction.
So,
Yeah, no, I get it. I was definitely thinking about that. I think
and Justin, if you ever listen to this, no hard feelings.
and then if you can't see it, so Daniel put a heart. um yeah, I think, I thought about that too last night, funnily enough, and I was just like everybody's got to make their own choice and what they feel is,
Yeah,
in their light and their brand and what they want to be in the steps or whatever in their career. But but seeing that also made me think like Justin could have done it, but I also
yeah,
understand why. I get it.
yeah,
So hopefully many more shows to come and many more opportunities for that to happen. So we shall see. Best revival of a musical went to Sunset Boulevard. The only thing I had to
yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah.
right? I once again haven't seen them all. I would love to know your opinion on that. But why did everyone go on the stage at once? They literally almost 100 people were in that production, I guess.
I will say that show is very like ensemble, like they carry that show.
Got it. Good to know. That's what
Like
someone said.
they like yes, Nicole is amazing and the main dude is amazing. I personally like Diego Rodriguez a little bit more, who's currently in Evita or gonna be in Evita at the London Palladium. Go
Mm-hmm.
Diego, Viva
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. Um the two main characters and the three main characters like were amazing and the ensemble in that show is they're pretty great.
Nice. Okay. Good to know. Maybe one day. Once again, doesn't seem like my cup of tea as far as like sound goes, but yeah. Lead actor in a musical, we talked about it, went to Darren Criss, Maybe Happy Ending. First nom and win. I don't know why I thought he was nominated before for Angry I couldn't think of it the night before either. Hen and the Angry Inch. What is that?
Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought he was nominated before, but apparently not. So that was his first nom.
Here,
Yeah, maybe it was off Broadway. I don't recall it being off Broadway, but maybe that could have been the reason. I don't know. And then of course they left with the big ones for the night. We already talked about it. Lead actress went to Nicole for Sunset
I
Boulevard, and
guess.
then yeah, I mean, listen, best musical went to Maybe Happy Ending. And so now I really have to see it to be able to understand if it lives up to that. But I feel like there's always a debate because I remember when Outsiders won last year, a lot of people were like, no. I was like, well, I can
My
see
thing
though.
my thing is that Wicked didn't really take any Tonys,
Yeah. What did it lose
and look
to?
at
Do you remember?
let's
Because I remember that was a
see.
conversation, and I can't remember. Best musical,
Let's see.
which show?
Oh, Avenue Q.
That's what it was. Yes, yes, yes. And then Avenue Q's been gone. Yeah, for a while
So
now.
you know what? Death Becomes Her will be here forever because I will stand with Death Becomes Her.
You never know because, for example, even like Anne Juliet didn't leave with a lot too, and Anne Juliet's still standing.
And I will say they are doing great.
Yeah, MJ the musical. There's a few that just kind of like exist in the quiet.
In the ether.
Yeah. All right. And then those are the awards. I'm just curious to know any highlights that happened in the night that we haven't talked about. Any people that you saw that you were excited to see, things like that.
Um, let's see. Honestly, it was just really nice to like I think and I had posted something on my social media about this.
Mm,
I think there's like a lot well, there's always a lot going on in the world and in this
mm.
country, which so
Especially
like
this year.
but I think like this year and currently what is going on, I think in the time that we are doing this of
Mm,
like stuff going on in Los Angeles and Southern California and like Gaza and everything,
mm,
it's like it's it has been kind of like surreal to see stuff being posted online of like I'll scroll and it's like police. And then the next post is everybody at the Tonys and a
mm-hmm,
performance of Cynthia Erivo. And then the next thing is like of the occupation in Gaza. And then again, we get to the Tonys.
mm,
And then like I just went to Govball. And so like my feed and timeline has really been a wild time.
mm-hmm.
And what was just really nice in general for the Tonys was just seeing like, which again, super like Hunger Gamesy, but like seeing like Jasmine, first time nominee, like dressed up and at the
Yeah.
Oscars, and seeing like Jennifer and Megan dressed up. Because like regardless if they won, like they are both two powerhouse women on Broadway doing an amazing job. And I'm like, yes, a lot of crap is going on. And like for one night, we're just like hanging out and being in community
Yeah.
and like enjoying storytelling and like real women have curves. Yes, they didn't win. However, the story was put on stage. People are going to wonder what the show is about. The women who are in the show, their TikTok and Instagram have been a lot of them talk. And it's so like I have stage door for Real Women
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to talk to some of the cast, and a lot of them are from California, from the Bay Area.
Yes.
And like a lot of their videos are like, we're here, we're doing the show, and like the same exact thing, but in real life is happening in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And like seeing them post that and then seeing them go to the Tonys, and I'm like, yes, they didn't win, and like we're telling stories. And like, yes, everything is glitz and glam, and Cynthia Erivo is singing her song and it is beautiful, and all these dresses are beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
we are here because we are telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like we're talking about stuff that like sometimes we don't want to talk about. And yes, like Real Women Have Curves talks about stuff that like is real right now, and we might not want to talk about it in the theater. And like we had a show, and like we had a good time, but now we're talking about it, and now we're having that exist in pop culture and continue. And so I think
Mm.
that is my takeaway of the Tonys.
Yeah, the duality. Like,
The duality.
yeah, I feel like that's been the case, like you said, for a while now. Of like, it's like, oh wow, something wild is happening. Gotta go to work. Oh wow, something wild is happening. Time to, talk about this really cool, interesting pop culture moment. Like, no, I definitely get that. It's such a weird period overall because it's just like constant breaking news, which is
And especially like so like I recently went to go see Cabaret with
mhm,
Ava and Oracle.
nice.
And, like, don't get me wrong, the original cast from Broadway and here or from the West End and here,
Mhm,
amazing.
mhm,
And I do think, like, the show has done better with their, like, quote, unquote, "stunt casting because I think all the people that they put in the show, like, yes, they're famous, but, like, they've done an amazing job.
mhm,
But I think this last time that I saw it with Orville and Ava, with both of them being, like, well-known performers and artists, both within Broadway and outside,
mhm,
seeing them do the show and seeing, like, Ava, who she is, like, break down on stage during maybe this time and at the end, and I'm like, it makes it feel a little bit more real, and it pulls you in a
mm,
little bit because 'cause you're like, "What if things got so bad that, like, Sabrina Carpenter had to work in a cabaret club in the middle of nowhere just to make money?"
mhm,
Because that's just how, like, society has gotten, or like Ava, the person that she is, seeing her do that, and I'm like, "What if?" And then you start to think about it, and you're like, shows like that, I'm like, "Oh, this is why, like, people are doing this."
mhm,
And, like, still putting on shows, and even when all the messiness is happening outside, like, we still have the Tonys to recognize the people who are doing this, and even if they don't win, we still get to see people like Audra put on an amazing show
mhm,
to show that, like, an old white lady was talking mad crap,
mhm.
but look at the performance that she did.
Right. No, that's actually very true. It's, like, being able to showcase it's like it's a sort of defiance, especially the Tonys. Once again, like, so it's
You're
important.
gonna have, oh, I always forget his name, not not Danny DeVito, but the guy who the last time went onto the Tony stage and said F the
Oh,
current
Robert De
dude in
Niro?
charge. Robert De Niro, he went on stage and
Mm,
was like, "Etta," and I'm like, where else? Like, if he did that at the Oscars,
no.
wild.
Oscars
But
is
the
very
Tonys,
yeah.
I'm like, where
Mhm.
else would you do it?
Mhm. No, that's true. That's true. The Oscars, they run a very interesting place. Um, yeah, they do. Um, I'm glad you mentioned that one. I'm gonna lighten it up a bit. I did want to say, random note, Keanu Reeves is coming to Broadway. Did you know that?
Huh?
Yeah, he's coming to Broadway this fall, I believe. Don't ask me the show. It's gonna be a play though. He's not singing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um,
The thing that I am looking forward to is Beetlejuice coming back for the third time.
listen, okay. Thank you for reminding me. One, I I need to figure out how to get there without spending an arm and a leg because we already did that the first time we went. Every time after that, I've spent lottery coin. I spent like $50 maybe or less. I have 3 Beetlejuice playbills. I'm going to break the Beetlejuice and go a fourth time. I have to. It's a must. I love that show.
I cannot wait. I was so sad when it left me, and my Beetlejuice tattoo cannot wait to sit there
And just enjoy it. So
and just
excited.
enjoy it and have a great time.
Thank you for reminding me about that. Oh, you know what we do have to talk about before we end? Hamilton.
Ugh, I love
Hamilton
that they all wore
performance.
black,
Period. Democracy is dead. Yes.
and the only person not wearing black was King
The king.
George.
And what color was he wearing? Red.
Red.
Yep.
Again,
The
if you're gonna
messaging.
tell a story, tell it correctly, and that
hmm
is how you tell a story correctly.
They put on their Twitter, I forgot what they used. It was a quote from Hamilton, but it was like 2016 screenshot, like a shot from their thing in their colorful costumes, and it was like 2025, and it was like that. That's how you know their
Uh,
costuming was very intentional, just like everybody said it
yeah.
was, um, based off of what they posted about. And it's like, no, we're here to tell a story again. And I love their song choices because it was nothing.
Yes.
It was very clear what their intentions were.
And also, it was just really like seeing Lynn tear up at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This man has given us, like, yes, the shows he has given us have been fun,
hmm
and like they talk about stuff that like need to be talked about.
Yeah. No, seriously. And I think he was like, wow, like I think he had a moment where he's like, "I
You did
really did
that.
that. Yeah, I really did that. Yeah." And I know,
It's
like,
like,
they're
"I'm the
close.
girl."
Yeah, and, like, getting to reunite. I know a lot of them are close and stuff too, and how their careers have skyrocketed from, from being on
Yeah.
Hamilton. Like, 10
And
years
what's
makes a
his
huge
face is
difference.
coming back to Hell's Kitchen?
Yes, Chris.
Yes.
Chris. I'm excited about that. Yeah. No, that his role makes sense. I was like,
Yeah,
you don't even have to tell me the role. I know he's gonna be the dad.
yeah.
That's his
I
role.
will say I did finally go see it for the first time,
Mhm.
and Jessica Vosk really
Jessica
rips your heart
Lamar.
out. She plays her mom.
Okay, because I saw it with Shoshana. Okay, got
Oh,
you.
don't talk about it. Don't
I'm
talk about
sorry.
it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. It's not fair.
I'm
It's a cruel
sorry.
world. It is the
You
cruel world that
you
we
were
live in.
here. You were here.
Hey, we don't have to say that out loud.
Exactly.
Please cut that out. Nobody needs to hear that.
It's hard to get there though. It's hard. I finally got it through a lottery, and even that was like it. It was hard to get by myself. Let's just say that. But the quote that Hamilton said, it was, "Look at where we are. Look at where we started." And it's 2016 picture, 2025 picture, and that's what they said.
Aww.
Do 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 do. Um, and then also, I just want to know, speaking of Hamilton, too, so many people are coming for Sir Anthony Ramos. Um, but I will say, you know, it is what it is, man. Listen, I
He made his
appreciate,
bed.
yeah,
It is what it is.
I will say I appreciate how they were all like, oh, Anthony's still family, he's still here, but we're gonna keep
But
him to the
sometimes,
side,
yeah,
and let Jasmine do her thing, and we're gonna keep him on the side. He's still family, but we're not gonna do
we
that
need to give
today.
Peggy her moment.
Yeah. It was very much like, because I was like, I thought he wasn't gonna be there for his like Ironheart stuff, but he was
Mm-mm-mm.
there. I was like, oh, okay. But a lot of people, they're not letting him breathe. So, like,
Yeah, no.
I was excited to see Leah Salonga as well. And
Yes.
then and I already talked about some of my other favorite moments. Commercial moment that I want to talk about. Apparently, there's a musical coming out, a movie called Kiss of the Spider Woman with J Lo.
Oh my god.
So I just wanted to make that known. But yeah, that's all.
Look, she needs to go back to whatever block she came from and stay there.
Or what she said, the orange
Which is really
juice.
funny because the little orange drink,
Yeah.
um, the one of the Itzel, the girl that plays the Itzel in Real Women Have Curves, is in that movie.
I mean, listen. Yeah, I was just surprised. That's all. But
She needs to let it go.
eventually, she'll have to, because I think, especially with the AMAs and everything too, she's starting to die down a bit.
Yeah.
People don't believe in her anymore.
Which period?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Don't come for me, audience.
No, I mean, it happens. J Lo, rom-com J Lo, love her down.
I love me a Maid in Manhattan.
Right. What? Wedding planner? I'm there. But
Wait,
I think we've seen enough.
yeah.
That's all. Um, but yeah, that was the Tonys.
What an eventful season.
Right. I'm excited to see what comes up next season. I hopefully less drama, more
Mamma Mia for the
community.
100th time.
Mamma Mia. We've got some other random stuff upon us. Like you said, I'm excited for Beetlejuice. If by some miracle I can see Leslie Odom Jr. in Hamilton, that'd be cool. But
You know,
feed the
my bank
rich.
account don't work like that.
Right. Yeah. I same. So it is what it is. But audience, let us know what you think. Listeners out there, let us know your thoughts on the show. We know there's a lot of similar ideas and probably some differing opinions as well, but just fun conversation. Go ahead and make sure you follow Daniel. Information is in the bio. And then as well as follow me at the Introvert Social Hour and at Kavana on Instagram. Stay tuned for next week. But excited to do this recap. Thank you, Daniel, for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. Get some sunshine, get some air. Have a great week. See you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Bye.
Yeah.